Aha! So welcome back to another scene for Lost Cub, out in the lovely Blue Ridge Mountains, where, whether or not it's actually snowing, it's fucking snowing because I say so. It's just nice out. It's pretty and icy and fucking cold. Not as cold as places like, Minnesota, but definitely cold. There has been, thankfully, at least on the home front, not an especial amount of activity. Ambrose does still have the big RV parked further out on the property, not right alongside the house. He's even found another point in the road where he can kind of pull off, and it takes a little doing, but he can slowly work his way through a mostly abandoned path that, the plants in the way aren't trees, so he could get the RV through there, and, they can certainly get the bike and the pickup through. So, they've kept that place parked up nearby. He and Becca have made regular runs out as needed to stock up, make sure they have what they need to keep the thing running. Also to handle things like toiletries and whatnot, which are always exciting when you're in an RV. The we'll just hit the spirit side. The storm crows have been ever present. The usual suspects all around have pretty much been ever present. The shadows never leave. There have been the ghost lights, though they don't seem to be inherent actual spirits on their own. They continue to manifest every night. There are currently, in fact, very recently, a lot of mice in the house. Not getting into the stores per se, not getting into the food, but every so often you'll spot one skittering across, a baseboard, generally keeping out of sight, but they're certainly there now. And Umbraside there, more thoughtfully present, poking up in people's rooms, popping up here and there, just the little beady eyes, little round ears, popping up, looking around, popping away. And as mice do, generally just trying to stay out of sight. Your good buddy here, as mentioned in the post, has grown significantly in size. One might have a moment should they spend some time out and about and seeing other normal birds and then see the flock of storm crows, might realize that, you know what, they're kind of sizable. They're kind of on the big side. And this guy has always been just a little bit bigger than the others, but at this point he kind of dwarfs them out. And after at least one scuffle among the flock to determine pecking order in a very literal fashion, everything's kind of gone back to normal again, with Big Guy still periodically making appearances in the Tellurian, puttering around the house, flip-flapping down the halls, perching on rafters, perching on the top of doors, interrupting conversations very thoughtfully with squawks. And let's see, what else have we hit in on? The graveyard, well, first off, the garden has gotten a lot less lively, predictably, with it being winter. The garden herself is aware, but in kind of a low-key state that's all of a step above outright hibernation. She's aware, and the plants are alive, but they're definitely dormant. The graveyard, on the other hand, has done the opposite and become a little more lively. Whereas there were maybe one or two of the very familiar Death Head's Moth spirits. Death spirits, for all that they manifest looking that way. There's always been one or two the whole time that any of you have been poking around the Tellurian in that area. It's gotten a little more lively. There's a couple more. They're all pretty small. They're about average moth-sized. Nothing to shake a stick at. But they are definitely present. And let's see, who else can we make note of? Your Chimerling buddy, the little meow hoot, still periodically appears, usually at night, usually when several people have already gone to sleep. He doesn't generally show up during the day, and honestly doesn't really show up if everyone's up or moving around or reading, or even if they're low key, unless someone's daydreaming. He's not around. Let us see. In light of the area and the weather, especially between Abby's just honest curiosity and Jane's more eager willingness to go around and actually just flat approach and talk to and ask the spirits what they are, what they do. You guys have become recently more familiar with spirits of snow, ice, north wind, all of them generally very glistening, all of them kind of keyed to the same thing. You'll have periodically encountered only really the evergreen plant spirits are bothering to hold a conversation, and you'll catch some of the some animal spirits, things that would naturally occur out in the Blue Ridge. You might have spotted a bobcat once or twice, but most of what you're going to encounter are fairly small. And actually of interest to the Theurges, since you guys do make a point of going out and making offerings or making little nice gestures. While JJ has been in the area, he has been regularly stocking a bird feeder. Even probably scattering some of the seed on the ground. Not the kind of thing that's going to interest the crows. It's small stuff. It's little bird feed. But it's been enough to keep the songbirds pretty happy. And there's, at least a passing presence of those around. So, dare I ask, I know Anton is probably pretty freshly back around from his run of tagging, which means that at least as we set this scene in the afternoon out in our lovely snow-capped house, it'll be probably just after the scuffle among the storm crows. The largest one is perched on one of the highest little points on the house, and nobody's really contesting him on taking the high perch, and is very, very contentedly preening and going, yes, yes, I'm magnificent. I am the biggest and the best, from his perch. Well, there are a handful in the Umbra of lovely iridescent feathers that have been scattered around as a result of the scuffle. So what are our people doing? What are people up to today? Are they going to interact with this? What spirits are they going to seek out? What do we got?
I'm going straight for the storm crows spirits. That's where Anton is going. Can I see my peeps?
And yes, if either Theurge has been in the Umbra, they've definitely heard the scuffle. And even if you haven't been in the Umbra, once you get there, well, that lovely kind of crack smell of ozone is tasty. But yeah, when Anton wanders out, it'll be a big man that finally wings down and settles himself on the shoulder, his usual perch, as it were.
He just puts hands in his pockets. Yo, big man.
Get some beak clicking. And honestly, he's been preening himself for a minute. He actually reaches up and, like, if you're wearing a winter hat, your hair is getting tugged out from under it, so he can nibble on it.
Anton doesn't wear Anton doesn't wear hats.
Yep. You're getting hair nibbled. Social preening. It's very good for you. Hello.
I had a question, big man. It looks over him as his hair's been pecked at.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
supposing that I need a banner that all these people can rally behind. What you call a pack. How's that happen?
It's complicated.
Well, give me the simple version, make things easier on me.
And they are adults. Thank you. When they are adults, you come together, you ask a spirit, like me, pulls himself up, wings kind of like floof floof.
Let's
To be your totem.
Let's say I want to fast track that process.
Some are ready. They need trials.
There you go then. Like I said, I want to know how I can get myself in that position, and their elders will come along just nicely.
Some thoughtful beat clacking. Some take personal totems, and that is good, but it is not a pack totem. You would need.
Oh, I'm looking for a personal one. Grins.
They need to challenge for their trials. They need to be ready. They need a tribe.
Rubs his face. Well, let's just say I want to make sure that when they do their trials, they can just slide in nice and easy. Considering gestures out, we are the most unconventional of our lot. I thought we would keep this unconventional. After all, they'll be following my directive.
Yep, there's a lot of fluffing and ruffling, and generally just kind of like, this is not the way it's supposed to be. He's not agitated enough to take off. He's not agitated enough to pack. He's really not agitated enough to do more than kind of puff up and go, look at me, I'm agitated. It's not how it is done, but this is different, and there is no one to teach.
Besides, I'm going to be the one teaching them. Thought you liked that kind of thing.
It smooths out somewhat.
So, my question is, I want something from grandfather's people to be the thing we follow under. More specifically, gestures out the crows.
You know what? I'll let you peony a bird spirit.
Sure.
He kind of puffs again, like, ah.
Hell, I don't give a shit. Yeah,
just it's kind of scandalized, like, ugh.
I think it is more appealing to have the general crow rather than a storm crow, because the storm crow, they might take too much connotation to it. Keep it general. We're going to have a nice even spread, guide the hand, gently ply it in, and push them along. If we push them too hard, they'll end up snapping in there, and then they're no use to us, are they?
No.
So, while I understand that you may be annoyed, think of it from our perspective. Puts his hand on his chest. Who's more in control, the person that can guide them along, the person who has to crack the whip?
He again just kind of like settles on the shoulder, like, fine. Almost sulky. Ironic, considering he is massive. Well, at least for a crow. Things can be arranged. Yes.
Excellent.
And two are ready.
Which ones are they?
He first kind of tips his head to where he can kind of eyeball the windows. The bear is learning and is growing, but he is not here right now.
And which tribe do you think he's going to belong to?
Don't know. Don't know. He has changed. He's changed very much.
He's not a crow. He doesn't have it. Shakes his head.
You will see.
We will.
And that one whips his beak around towards the graveyard.
She'll fit in Grandfather Thunder's brood nicely. After all, I already planted the idea in her head. Now you just need to do your part. Nudges him.
He kind of fluffs like, the indignity.
Nah, I can't do everything.
No. They do
And
not have
considering...
family like you. Your ancestor gave you a challenge.
I did. He did.
You saw.
And she's got the same ruthlessness I do. The bear doesn't. He thinks, overthinks, and then plies it, and then overthinks it again, and then hides it. It's no good to us.
I thought he might be a cockroach.
He is. That would suit. Or a bear. I'm assuming there's a bear one.
Bear is its own spirit, but it's probably closest to unicorn.
There you go then. I'm sure he'll be happy. But if my suggestion you take under value, gestures over towards the graveyard. Put the thought in. I already have. After all, doesn't Grandfather often deal in thoughts and secrets?
Yes, yes, yes.
Pats him on the head. Besides, she follows me. Wink. Giving that, the Stormcrow wink, like, power,
Now I'm just seeing the fucking donkey screenshot. It kind of puffs itself up. It is strange not having you know what to do. You're supposed to charge.
I grew up. Puts his hands in his pockets. Let me know what you find on whatever crow spirit we need to take. I'll get the others in line to be challenging.
Huffs and finally, yeah, it'll give a hop and launch its big old booty in the air.
Yeah, Ando just puts his hands in his pockets and, begins to walk back. He'll probably actually shift back over to the fucking Tellurian. There's people that he wants to chat to in Tellurian, so he seems a bit rude to just fuck off into the Umbra.
Yep, you can flit into the Tellurian. Little big man will wing towards the graveyard. And in the interest of the fact that Meredith has the shortest time limit, is that who you're looking for in the Tellurian?
Probably. I mean, if he runs into Abby, he'll chat to her.
She's not hard to find at this point, actually. She's she kind of crashed into the house midway through the day, muttered something about hard-headed executives, and You're not sure if she said she needed a break or a shower or possibly both, but clearly someone is taking a long weekend, which is good because she hadn't been taking weekends for about the past 2 weeks or so. But at this point, she's downstairs poking at that fountain in the courtyard. Or in the foyer, technically.
Anton just leans up against the door watching her.
She's been trying to fix the plumbing on it for a while. She did have the God-given good sense to make sure that the water was turned off and not just blocked somewhere before she started taking things apart, but yep.
You good there, Abby?
I mean, I kind of wish it had a manual, but I think so.
Why'd you just talk to Becca about it?
Well, because it's my project, not Becca's.
Oh, just nods. I see. Lights a cigarette.
Besides, she's got a million other things to do.
Mm-hmm. But it's your project, though. He starts smirking.
Did you need something?
I was just seeing how you were.
Okay. Sorry, it has been a long week? No, it's been longer than a week. I don't actually know. This entire this whole contract has been terrible. And I told Bill that it was terrible, and he didn't listen to me. Or he did listen to me, and he thought that this was a good learning experience. Or I don't actually know which one, but I'm still.
Well, if it's not suiting you.
I mean, it's suiting me fine. I'm just.
Clearly not if you're this stressed.
Anton, why are people stupid?
No idea. Maybe this just work isn't for you.
Well, I mean, I'm accomplishing stuff. It's working fine.
Really? And you're sitting here fussing and humming and hawing?
Well, it's almost done. I mean, I'll have it closed on Monday. I just don't want to deal with them right now because they're stupid. Also rude. So rude.
I can't imagine why they'd be rude to you, Abby.
Probably because I still look like I'm 15 and kind of sound like it. Thank you, I know.
No, nope. Can't imagine it. Can't imagine it at all. Takes a drag of a cigarette.
Helping.
Looks over. I haven't said a thing.
You're still not helping. So there. Did you see the wrench? I had another. It's the one with the screwy bit in the middle. It was right here.
Nope, I haven't seen it.
Huh. She will stand up and walk in like a circle around the fountain and find it because it is, in fact, right there. Probably in full view of Anton. Just kind of
no, watch this. Just taking a drag of cigarette. Like, them
really
wrenches, man. They get ahead of you. Oh, no, did you find it?
Yes, it's right here. 5 feet from you, who apparently can't see it. Thanks. You should work on that.
I'm not the one who couldn't find it.
I specifically asked if you could see it, and you said no. So, either you're full of shit, or you really need to be more alert, Anton. That kind of lack of awareness is just going to get you killed.
You want to know the reason why people are rude to you? Puts up the cigarette. You want to know? Because I'll tell you.
You're going to tell me anyway.
You're a cunt.
Thanks.
There you go.
Okay.
You want to act like one? That's how you're going to be treated. Because that's what the world takes from you. You want to be a bitch at the world, it'll bitch right back. You want to snack me? I'll snack you right back.
You always snack me, Anton. Pretty much always. But
okay.
Why are we going in this circle again?
I'm not the one who was telling me I was full of shit. Grins. I was just coming to see how you were, and I got a mouthful of sass.
And now I'm a cunt? You can go right back wherever you were, because this isn't doing anything positive for anything. We're just going to end up in another argument, which doesn't accomplish anything.
Okay, Abby. If that's what you want to hear. Okay.
Anton, you don't get to walk up and tell me I'm a cunt and then sigh at me when I don't like it and don't want to talk to you.
You want to mock the way I talk? You want to mock the way I talk about it's going to get you killed out there? You want to mock that? That's fine. Mock away. Mock away. You want to act like a total bitch to me? Act it. But don't expect me not to say anything. Don't expect me not to stand there. And don't try and use the fact that you come at me, mock what I do, mock how I am. And when I react, you don't like it. Well, good. I know how I feel. So, get used to it.
I am used to it, which probably says more than it ought to.
Okay, Abby. So I come up asking, how are you? I'm a piece of shit because I joked around and had some fun with you and tried to be a normal person. And then you mock my procedures.
And I tease you back and I'm a cunt. Are we done yet? Can we please not go in this circle again? I don't want to have this conversation. Because it always ends up like this, and somehow it's always my fault.
Sure. No problem. Just puts out the cigarette and just turns to walk off. No fucking problem. And you'll turn, that's because it is your fault.
That's nice.
Oh, yeah.
But did you want me to start, like, crying or something?
No.
Because I know damn well that doesn't help.
No. You're the one who clearly acted like a bitch. And then didn't like it when somebody called the fuck out on it.
Right.
And you didn't like the fact that I'm not afraid to call you out on it. And then you changed the subject around to go back on, can we not do this, Anton? Let's go around in a circle again. And deflect. And you don't like it.
So you teased me, and you didn't like
I asked
the way
how
that
you
I
were.
teased
I
you back.
asked how you were doing. And I had a little bit of camaraderie with you, and I got a mountain full of shit. I came looking for you specifically to ask you how you were doing, because I was worried because I hadn't seen you for a few days. And what do I get? Shit. Maybe, just maybe. No, bear with me now. You need to adapt to learn other people's styles. Maybe you just need to adapt to other people.
Maybe I have, Anton. Maybe that's why you don't see a lot of me. Maybe it's because I'm talking to other people because they treat me better.
Okay. If that's what you think. Clearly.
Well, nobody else has called me a cunt this week, so apparently yes.
All right, then. No problem then, Abby. I'll just fuck off with myself then and just not bother anymore.
Literally nothing I ever say to you other than, yes, Anton, of course, right now, has gotten me anything but garbage.
Really? Okay, then. If that's what you think, that's fine.
And she just kind of gives him this, like, helpless little shrug, like, what am I supposed to think? And we'll turn around and go back to messing with the fountain.
Yeah, Anton just walks off.
All right. But in the meantime, over in the graveyard, where I assume there is a Jane.
There is indeed. There is a Jane. Just probably considering it's Umbra side, she's just sat there chilling. especially depending on what time of day it is. What time of day is it?
Afternoon?
Yeah,
Going on
definitely chilling.
evening?
Definitely chilling. So she sat down, probably in between like two of the graves, and just cross-legged, just relaxing because it's just for some reason this place just doesn't feel as heavy as the rest of it, as everything else. There's just something about it that just almost seems to uplift her that little bit. It's nice. It's just nice. So yeah, she sat there getting a freak on because it's for her heritage.
Now look on the bright side. You've seen the Umbral side, you've seen the Tellurian side, and all things considered, with the work you've been doing, it's getting closer and closer by the day to matching. It's actually helped a lot with figuring out where some of those tombstones started. But yes, as you were sat there, and probably have at least one moth resting on you somewhere. Probably on your head, fuck it. We'll just stick it on your head. Just chilling, hanging out in your hair, like it do. Little moth feelers going bananas. Inevitably, as provoked. You will end up in lovely company. Feathered company. Kind of shimmery feathered company. Who, just so casually flies over and finds himself a perch that's not already occupied. Frickin' moths. Can't peck them, they've got lasers. Blast Charm's a bitch, man. I'm just saying.
I can't help but just think of fucking Mothra from Godzilla when you say the moths have lasers.
Perfect. Then I'm doing it right.
But yeah, so he perches wherever.
Yep, he finds one of the tombstones that's not occupied. There's only so many moths to go around. There's other things lingering around associated with decay and renewal. Things,
Yeah.
I say. But yes, you will end up with a bird on a gravestone. Pretty iconic for a crow, really. Chilling on a gravestone.
And of course, no, just kind of sat there chilling. Didn't even realize her eyes were closed because you can't really see them, but definitely the fact that her eyes open and you can see the slight kind of glisten of the iris, the actual kind of slightly water-looked color coming from the eye as she opens and just, looks up at the thing stood before her, clearly a crow. Kind of just cocks her head to the side a little bit, and there's a bit of a smirk on her face. It looks, especially not to the spirit, but to normal people, slightly unnerving. Can I help you?
And there's just this squawk of like, yes! And he flits down and settles right in front of your crossed legs. Pulls himself up to his grandiose height of now several inches taller than he was before. Very significant, very important difference, at least to him.
And then at the side of just the kind of bark at yes, she's like, oh, okay. It's like, you're here now,
Yes.
right? Looks
Yes,
at him.
yes.
With what exactly?
It is time for you to grow up. Sage nod. Very helpful.
Look, I get that I don't really have a good pinpoint on my age, but I'm pretty sure that I've finished puberty.
If there's an agitated little, like, wing shuffle. Not quite a flap. We haven't gotten to the flapping yet. Flapping might happen. No. When Garou. When you are ready, you are supposed to challenge we're supposed to join a tribe, like Anton has done. His ancestor came to him and did the right for him. We can do the right for you, but you still have to challenge. We'll have to decide where to go.
Huh. All right then.
It's a bit of a head cock. The spirit you challenge will help determine where you go. You could follow Grandfather. He kind of fluffs himself up. You could follow Owl. You could follow many, but you must choose.
Right. What, do you want me to do this now? Like right now?
You could. I am ready.
All right then. I challenge.
To be a child of Grandfather.
Yeah. Challenging Grandfather.
Good. He proceeds to start doing, like, you know how ridiculous the bird walk is.
Is it the walk or is it the hop?
It's that funny, like, waddle. There are some hops in there.
Yep. It's not the 2-footed, like, boing, boing, boing. It's just blip, 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 blip.
Very, very authoritative waddle. Some hopping in there. Good. Then I will cast your right. Yes. Yes. Do not be weak. Grandfather doesn't like weakness.
I don't plan on it.
Good.
So, kind of looks around, just like waiting for something to happen.
All right. I am going to quickly check out this right. Make sure I get things fabulous. Take me just a second. Ooh, no pop-ups. Okay. Up over to Renowned Rights. Keep this fucking thematic.
Yeah.
So he basically does some of the hippity hops around. Does does the little circle dance around you and finally comes and settles in front of you again. And he settles down like hunkers. And occasionally cocks his head like he's listening, but stares thoughtfully. Very thoughtfully. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ask you outright, Tom. What would you say with Jane as she is now, not necessarily as she has been before, but as she is now? What would you say is her greatest weakness?
Ooh. Jane's greatest weakness. That's surprisingly fucking difficult shit.
It should be, honestly. It should require some thought. Everyone has things that make them fall a little flat, but trying to really pinpoint that thing.
Just because the way I think it would fit nicely
Okay.
is her greatest weakness is the straight up fear of being unable to approach or face the nightmares that she has, and instead just lock them and put them back. If you catch my drift. She falls short in a few categories, but the fact that she's outright terrified of that shit that she sees.
That is, you know what? That's good. I think that will be thematic and fun. So, what we'll do is, as the crow, and he really examined you. In fact, he does end up hopping around you more slowly, taking you in. It's like he's searching for a chink in the armor. Not that you're wearing anything at the moment, but you kind of get the radar look, that really deep scan of who are you, what makes you tick. Good assessment.
Yeah, no, she just the head following him around as he hops and plods about, walking around. They're just kind of like following him around and spinning the head round, following back round again, just kind of like with a raised apple, like I have no idea what he's doing.
But you are actually trying to keep an eye on him?
Oh yeah, no, she's watching him.
That is actually a good note. He does once or twice flick a glance up, looks you right in the eyes, gives a little chortle. Seems entertained that you are, in fact, keeping an eye instead of letting him just get around at your back. And finally, yeah, kind of croaks out at you. There is a chimerling in this place. Picks up a wing, gestures towards the house.
Yes, there is.
You will speak to the chimerling. You will go into your dreams. And when you come out, after defeating the thing that makes you weak so that you can be strong. Grandfather will take you.
Right. Okay.
We'll eradicate your weakness, and then you will be a child of grandfather.
Yeah, no, that I got that. Just the, yep. You know what? Yep. Just stands up like I'm not even gonna question this any further because you know what? You are a crow.
Very
And clearly,
big and magnificent crow. Meh.
clearly, a very stubborn
Yes.
and ego-filled crow, just like internally, just like, yep, I am just gonna go find this, and you know what? This will be interesting. As she'll start to walk into the house, making her way there. I mean, it's probably evident from the fact that depending on how well well, even so, she's is that like she doesn't show it as such. Like it's not very clear, but there's that sense of like she really doesn't really want to step in that house and go find the fucking chimera link. There's that reluctancy about it. Like,
It's very real. The house is waiting.
it's, in the Umbra, of course, the Umbra reflection. She the cold doesn't bother so much. It's not as never as such as cold as it is in the Tavern. Maybe just don't feel it as much. But Jane, with the embodiment of death literally coursing through her veins, there's just something about the chilling embrace that just doesn't really bother her on this side. And she, steps up on the steps all the way to the top. And she'll go inside and kind of look around, especially in the foyer.
The foyer. All right. I mean, in the house, you're familiar with what's in there. The crow doesn't necessarily follow you straight on. But eventually, as you're heading in and wandering around, you'll hear him ruffle up somewhere. You'll hear the flutter of feathers. He has literally no compunctions about coming inside. But yeah, you come in. Admittedly, it's much cleaner and grander and less dusty
I was gonna
because
say, I haven't
Umbra.
seen this yet. Damn. She kind of looks around, clearly, I'm guessing not able to spot the chimera link.
Yes. Ooh. Wait one moment as I'm... Ugh, many things. Let me find your little buddy here. And let's see. Because admittedly... Oh, that's unnecessarily zoomed in. Let's put him here instead. And let's see. Where are you looking for little buddy?
Well, if he's not in the foyer, the first place you're gonna go is upstairs.
This is a logical place to look. And I'll give you for free that, again, the Chimerling is easiest found when people are actually sleeping. But going up to where people sleep is a good start. So, you putter up onto the second floor, going through the halls. there's still a hallway or two that are just blocked up with a bunch of garbage. There's at least one door no one's managed to find the key to and have been kind of tentative about just straight breaking it down. But you still wander the halls that are available to you and poke through the rooms. And let's see. Eeny meeny. Let's see which room he's in. Okay. So you putter around, I assume you're just kind of poking your head into rooms, just trying to see if you can scan the little guy out.
Yeah, literally.
All right, so give me a perception alertness.
That's 5 at 6.
Fabulous. So, in a sweet, sweet bit of irony, it will actually be up when you're poking your head into your own room that you spot up on the mantle where you may have tucked some of your belongings. But tucked up there, kind of scooched back a bit, crouched down, kind of kitten pose, pre-pounce, staring at a point on the ceiling is little Meowhoot.
She pokes her head in, spots the thing clearly, like almost target locked. Like, you hear dun 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 dun. She'll step in the door.
The dead giveaway was the little tail poking up.
And the fact it literally kind of glows that little bit.
He also may or may not glow ever so slightly. We're pretending that's fine. Yeah, he's like tucked behind like where you've pitched your purse up there or something, and glowing softly, his little tail is like boing straight up from behind the purse.
And if she can get round to it, I'm guessing he can't see me, right? Is he like hidden behind something?
I mean, he's not fully hidden. He's kind of tucked.
Oh, he's just kind of sat behind something.
Yeah, it's more that he's kind of tucked behind a few things. Like, I'm gonna get that ceiling. You're not sure what the fuck he's on about. And you get kind of like a little feather twitch, almost as you come around. Like he's aware, but man, that ceiling though, so cloying.
Everything all right?
Oh, I am waiting for it to come back. Yeah, I'm gonna get it. Okay, maybe not gonna get it. I might get it. Oh, but it won't do that till you go to sleep.
And it finally like reorients and realizes who it's talking to. It's like, oh, and pops back up into a sit or a stand, an awkward stand because it was crouching a moment ago.
So as it kind of putters round, for all intents and purposes, just recreate this in the Umbra. Just the what? Right. What?
You won't come till you're sleeping. I can't get it.
Who
You'd have to go to sleep first. Oh, the bad thing.
The bad thing?
Yes. It comes out of the ceiling.
Stage nod.
Slowly looks up at the ceiling.
It looks like your ceiling, albeit a cleaner, older version of your ceiling.
Right.
There's a light fixture there. It's very nice.
Right. Just out of curiosity, this thing, what? Why are you after it?
Oh, well, sometimes dreams are for teaching, and sometimes they are for imagining, and sometimes they're scary. But this is worse than scary. It keeps coming back.
Yeah, it does.
Yes. I fought it once with the others I heard. I did.
From Nod. Noddle.
Yeah, I heard.
Yes. But it is very big.
Well, can't believe I'm saying this, but it might be your lucky day.
Oh, I'm lucky? I'm really lucky.
Poof.
I've been tasked with I guess facing it properly.
Oh, it is a very big thing to do.
I'm gonna need your help.
I get your help. What I gotta do?
Oh, I can't see it unless I go to sleep, right?
No.
So it's just kind of like, huh?
Oh,
The wings poof out again, like flit out, like doo. More. It is a further extension of the poof.
oh, yes, yes. We can do the thing. Yes.
And he proceeds to like kind of does the little butt wiggle, and Kitten jumps off the mantle and flits over to plop down on your bed. Still throwing a stray glance at the ceiling, like watching you, ceiling.
Yeah, the thing, right?
Yes. Hey, come here.
Come here. Pats the little paws on the bed.
Just slowly, like slides 1 foot and then takes the step, sits down. What?
Wait 1 moment.
Okay, so, remember, you're gonna be in a dream. But you'll know you're in a dream. So you can do the things. Even though it's gonna be really scary.
Like sets a tiny paw on her leg, like consolingly.
It's pretty scary.
Just kind of looks down like, I don't know how to feel about that. Like,
No, it's okay.
internally just staring like I'm being consolidated by a cat. An owl cat. Just continues to stare at the thing.
It's so fucking fluffy and pure and good. It almost burns.
My edge. Oh no, it's kind of no. She sits there, looks at the paw as it is applied to her leg, looks back at it. Yep, I'm well aware of that.
And I will just kind of give the catch-all arm wave of at this point. If Anton wants to have been pointed in the right direction, he is more than welcome to show up at her door.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Anton can be there.
This Chimerling kitten, such as it is kind of got the little pausey on her leg. She's just like sitting on her bed. Are you going by yourself? Is he going? Points a wing instead of a paw because it's easier. It's on the side.
This kind of turns and looks up at Anton.
Nods at her. Doesn't really speak. Doesn't really say anything.
I don't know, is that allowed?
I don't know. Did he say it was not allowed? If he didn't say it wasn't allowed, it's probably allowed. Loopholes. Phrasing is very important.
Sage nod.
Alright. This kind of turns and looks at Anton. Do you want in on this, or are you sitting out?
Do you want me there?
I'm not going to say no to help.
Like I said, if you want me there.
Something wrong?
No.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's your choice. I don't mind.
He closes his eyes and just takes a breath. If you want me there, I'll come. If you don't, I won't. It's not my choice, it's yours.
Alright. Loopholes.
Yes.
Come on. He's coming with.
Yes. Okay. Come on.
Pats a little paw on the bed. Like, you just sit right here. Pet, pat, pat, pat. Presuming that Anton gets in position.
Yeah. I mean, he's a bit, for Jane, he's a bit quieter. He's a bit just, I don't know, he just doesn't seem with it, but he'll get in position and do his shit.
Okay. Gonna go in the bad dream, but you'll know you're in a dream, and that's good. So that means you're lucid dreaming. You know what that is, right? Yes, yes.
Blink.
That means it's your dream. It's wherever you dream it is. But you gotta believe it, though.
Alright.
Okay. Gonna do it.
Alright, do it.
It reaches out and, like, literally just kind of, like, reaches over and just touches her with its little beak, like, boop. And Jane's out cold. Turns around, does the same to Anton, kind of, like, just reaches out, touches his arm gently with, like, the curve of its beak. Little boop. And, yeah. Down. Now, here's the thing, is you're going to fall immediately into, like, deep REM. And yeah, if there were viewers out watching in the Umbra, what manifests over the bed is not wholesome in any way at all. Essentially, as the two of you fall out, almost immediately, this thing starts slithering out of the ceiling, right over Jane. And essentially, as you're falling into that deep sleep, it slithers down, attaching to the ceiling, small tendrils going off into the walls, and opens its maw directly over her head, connecting with those odd little red tendrils to her temple, and beginning to pulse like a rapid heartbeat. And now, I get to see if I have something easily on hand here. And in the meantime, I will just use this picture. As you are plunged, both of you, nigh immediately, because Anton is getting pulled specifically into this dreamscape, this nightmarescape, as it were, where abruptly the both of you are in a landscape that is dark, is kind of indistinct. There's a vague fog that makes shapes go even more indistinct the further away you get. And in this case, for Jane, this has some familiar, semi-familiar landmarks from when you were in Richmond. It's the shape of that building over there is kind of familiar. You know, those particular little buildings, that particular little bit of skyline, you recognize that. By the same token, you feel like if you stared long enough in the right direction, you'd almost be able to see the mountains. You might even be able to, like, find your way to the house from there. It's kind of distorted. It's that shady dreamscape where you've got shapes, but you don't have a lot of detail. And there's almost immediately a severe sense of dread. The sense that there is something around that corner right there. If you go down that street, if you go past that alley, there's something there that's going to get you. You don't know what it is, but you know it's awful. And this will be actually hammering both of you pretty solidly. It's almost immediately the effect of essentially kind of paranoia. Not about something indescribable or truly illogical happening, but in that there is something here that's going to get you. There's something here that is coming and it's close, but you're not sure where. And any corner could be the wrong corner. You swear now and again out of the corner of your eyes you see a bit of movement. Maybe it's a tendril, maybe it's something scuttling across the ground. It could be the size of a rat, it could be like an odd distorted body of a person bent backwards on all fours. It could be anything. It's just a sense of looming threat.
As she is plunged into this she knows all too well, really. It's the sense of what, so, funnily enough, seems to always happen. The backpedaling in a circle, looking around, looking for something to fixate on, but there's nothing that can just kind of jump out. It's all just a background, essentially. It's all a backdrop. There's nothing jumping out. There's nothing there. It's just that kind of slow hum of the fog moving across about ankle height until Anton. She just whirls around and click. He's there. He's actually there. She looks for a second and realizes that she's... Huh. Fuck.
Anton's just glancing around. You know, his eyes never stay in the same place at least once. You know, not like freaking the fuck out, but definitely noticeably on edge. His hands are out of his pockets now. They have seemed to be almost like twiddling idly as if he's ready to just ascend into the war form. But he's just staring.
Oh, this is definitely it. Yeah, this is definitely it.
Well, we're here for a reason.
Yeah.
You want to be a shuttle lord, you gotta face it.
So, that's the plan. That's the plan.
I'll start walking.
She kind of, again, does the you could. I mean, Anton can tell she's clearly high rate at the minute, but she whirls and whirls until eventually there's that, just that, like if you stare long enough in the one direction, they just see the mountains and click just in the distance.
I will give you this. As you're turning, as you're spinning, as you're looking, there is, instead of a dim, like colorless sense of light to the place, there's kind of a wash of like a red glow. And in a particular direction, you can vaguely see it pulsing.
Yeah, and now she, again, it just kind of clicks, and it wasn't there before, but now she can kind of grasp onto it, that little bit of something that stands out. Just takes in a deep breath. And just, yeah. It's slow at first, the one step, second step, but eventually the pace becomes more normal and she just starts walking.
Yeah, follow after.
All right. So, one thing that'll be interesting to note is, regardless of where you were, what you looked like before you came in, yeah, Jane looks like Jane. Doesn't look like her umbral reflection. Just looks like herself. By the same token, Anton appearing there, he's going to look exactly like himself. But if there is a way that Jane regards him that might tweak the way his clothes look a little bit, something like that, it'll reflect. This is a place that is based off of her mind, so there's little signs and echoes of that. Jane, as you start walking down these streets, still now and again seeing something scuttle just a little too fast for you to catch it, still feeling dread as you pass each doorway, each window, each side alley. What you're going to realize as you're walking and you're catching these silhouettes of the building is that you are walking roughly towards the hospital and towards that alley.
She, it's again just the kind. It's not headstrong, but it's more focused than anything else. But she does get distracted by the corner of her eye every so often. But the feet just keep walking. She doesn't stop, but as you can clearly see, she turns. She turns because the surrounding, knowing what's behind her, knowing that they're looking around, she does connect with Anton's field of view a good number of times. But she doesn't stop walking at all. She just looks behind her, sees Anton still there, carries on.
With a direction in mind, it's one of those weird dream state effects in that as you're walking down the street, as long as you're committed to going where you're going, it bypasses a little faster than it should for a normal walking speed. You're kind of zooming in like with a camera lens. You're moving further along faster than you should. It's a weird thematic effect. Though as you draw closer, and particularly perhaps as you see the outline, the familiar building of the hospital, you see, in this case, the windows look like almost holes punched in the silhouette. It's daunting. It's cast in a very bad light. It's not where you're going, though. And you kind of stare at it and turn aside, and as you look down the streets towards that alley, that pulse has become brighter. It's become more sickening. It's become a bit faster, maybe? It's like the patter of a heart, again, that's stricken with fear, not with terror, not racing yet, but it's a bit too fast for a normal heartbeat. It's one of those things where you almost subconsciously sync up to it. It amps you up a little more. And what I'm going to have you do is do a willpower check. Oh, buddy, old friend. Beautiful. Beautiful. So yeah, you turn and it's kind of striking, and this is about where you start seeing things as you head down this street, heading towards this alley, heading past that familiar phone booth even. It's not just in the corner of your eyes anymore. And Anton's seeing the same thing as you go along, as you step onto this street almost. It's not small things, it's not flitting, it's not barely there, it's closer. As you're walking down the center of the street, you can almost see figures on the sidewalk stretching out, reaching. Some of them have long, distended fingers and claws. Others kind of low to the ground, eerie, bent over. Some have too many limbs, some have not enough. All of them kind of cast in shadow. All of them kind of fuzzy around the edges and hard to pinpoint.
Yay. It's not creepy at all.
Yeah, it's fine. It's totally fine.
But with a willpower roll like that, I'm assuming, well, is it 4 successes? Or is it 2?
It is 4.
All right. So with especially with 4, she sees him, and there is that high rated, slight, the heart rate increases, the air intake lessens, but the breath becomes shorter and quicker. But still, she's just so fucking focused on what this is right now.
So, Jane, as you are striding in and you're feeling and seeing these beings that much closer, just barely not able to reach, is there anything you are wishing that you had? Anything that I wish this was different? I wish I felt stronger. I wish I felt safer. I wish I had a weapon. I wish anything, really.
They're right on her, like basically, I want to suppose, like millimeters away from her.
It's one of those things where you feel like if they just snatched out, they'd get you. They're falling just short, inches short. Damn it. I love you guys.
So as she's walking through, getting closer and closer to this this ominous glow in the distance, she can't help. She's focused, but she can't help but pay attention to the things just slowly coming into her view as he like grasps towards her face, towards her arms, and so she keeping so closely, and it's just in the back of her mind ringing, just back off, just back off, just back off.
And it's about time one of them finally reaches out, and just you feel this disgusting, just cold, and it's disturbing because on the one hand you'd swear it was slimy, on the other you can barely tell. It's almost like it reached through you, your skin is chilled. That point of contact, you wish them to back off, and abruptly, at the very least, that hand is almost as if you'd slapped it away without any physical motion, is not thrown back, not thrown far, but flicked from you. Anton, you're getting the same sort of thing. They're getting closer to the point where you swear you kind of feel them plucking at your clothes. Just trying to reach a little further.
That is not good. Eventually I'm just gonna fucking growl at the fucking hand coming near him.
So instead of like recoiling, you're kind of
Yep.
snapping back at it, responding with aggression.
I'm riding high on the rage train after that fight, so yeah, I growl.
They pluck back an inch or two. It'll stall them for a moment before, again, you'll feel a little pluck here, a little pluck there, the brush of fingers. And same thing for Jane. And as you're going down this street, like, you can see the light spilling out of this alley. The same one you investigated, between the 2 restaurants with the dumpsters at the back. One where you found that tooth. That's the place. It's definitely the place. It's only in the light that you can see the details, the brickwork. You can even kind of see the shoddy remains of the caution tape.
The arms are still going for it, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. You wish they'd give you a little space and one of them slaps back. But as you continue walking, they keep plucking.
So she's getting closer and closer because she wouldn't stop. It just, again, it's still saying to such back out, and it comes from rather saying it to the back of her mind to her actually saying it just more as a whisper. As they start pulling at the clothes, she feels one of them pull at the bottom of her jacket and stuff. It's just back off, and eventually until one of them gets maybe a little too comfortable, finally gets a good grip. Probably tugging on the back of her head right at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
It hits the bottom of her. It's more of a whirl, and she shouts. Not with there's no backing down. It is more a directive shout, just back off.
All right, roll me willpower. Let's see how much effect you get. That's still 1. That'll still do it. So it's... Yeah, one of them finally gets purchased. One of them snags a hold of a fistful of hair, and you whirl, and you yell it. And the hand is suddenly... It's like it loses purchase. The fingers just kind of slide out of your hair. It's not as satisfying as have it suddenly slapped away as having it gone. But as you kind of push your will on the surroundings, they spill back some. Those looming bodies, you'd swear one was about to grab your arm, your leg. They spill back a bit. Like something has shoved them collectively away. And Anton, every time you're whirling and snapping and snarling or growling, it's kind of a similar effect. It doesn't get quite as much breadth, but whatever you're directly threatening backs off. Because, let's face it, this place is feeding on fear. And this is an Anton's nightmare. So it has a harder time latching on when he's not giving any feedback. So, Jane, you whirl. They spill back some. This time you definitely see it.
Then there's that second where she does there's a bit of the whirl stomp as she looks behind her and looks back up at Anton. And just turns back around and starts walking again. Unless he says anything.
Nope. Just keeps walking.
Yeah, no, she turns around and probably a little bit slower, but still pretty damn focused on what that is.
All right. So you'll finally make it to the mouth of this alley. I assume you're going to turn to look down it.
Damn right.
And the creature there is very reminiscent of the image you're seeing, except that this has something of a mass to it. It's, instead of descending from a ceiling, it's like it's coming out of the walls. Parts of it are feeding out of the ground, between the cobbles, between the bricks. It's latched on. It's filling that small, admittedly kind of shallow alley. It did have a back to it. But that's where it's anchored. But that maw splits open. The odd, tendril of a tongue split into fraying pieces. Spills out. Those odd holes, at least up around the maw, up around the face, kind of split open. You would expect eyes, but instead it's just brighter points of light. That nasty red glow. And it fucking spills up and it gapes its maw and it screeches, it trumpets, it bellows. It's a layered sound. All of them designed to strike a nerve. it's filling the alley. It seems massive. It seems indomitable, at least to Jane. And I will have you roll a willpower, as basically you're going to get hit with a wave of just incredible dread. This is the bad thing. This is exactly the thing that you're trying to get away from. This is what you're usually running from. That is a beautiful roll.
that
Even a high
roll.
diff. It's one of those things where with a roll like that, it shakes the shit out of you, but this time you don't run. You've got something you have to do. You came here to do this. You gotta do it. You gotta. You dig your feet in. You grit your teeth. And you feel your heart start hammering against your ribs, but you manage to find the force of will to keep your feet planted instead of taking off, which is what all of your nerves are screaming at you to do right now.
And does it stop screaming, or does it just continue? It's like this constant, just kind of bellow.
It goes on for a bit. You have enough time to kind of get your senses back about you while it's still issuing this screech. It's not like it seems to have lungs. There is a portion of it that looks like it may be a bit more of a trunk to it, but it's all of these tendrils. So many fucking tendrils latched onto the walls, the floors. Well, I say the walls and the street. But it's not like it has lungs that it's going to run out of. It's a fairly lengthy screech. Though it'll peter out after a couple moments, you kind of get your shit together, you recognize the layers of it, you feel it kind of setting your hair on end.
You know what? Fuck it. That's 3 willpower. That's a decent fucking roll.
Yeah?
So as it's screaming, she gets her senses back at someone. She just the feet firmly planted in the ground. She kind of pushes those instincts to the back of her skull and just turns around and screams, "Shut the fuck up!"
It ends? It does. But it ends in like a snap of the massive maw, which is, I mean, to a Hamid, you could fit in that mouth. You could absolutely. But it snaps shut, almost biting off its own scream. And then it lunges.
What?
It hit that massive fucking skull, that odd, inky black jaw with only so much skull behind it. It essentially, it bites short. And then in agitation, it kind of surges towards you.
Hey, but
Yes.
When it surges, Anton's gonna make a move, and I'm gonna grab both ends of the maw and hold it open. Because it's lunging at Jane, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna blow the rage to fucking move at lightning speed.
All right. I will have you do essentially a grapple check.
Okay.
See if you can latch a hold of the thing mid-lunge.
Oh!
Whoa!
Oh, God.
Right, that's a good roll, that is, lad.
That is a really good roll.
That is a really good roll. Oh, my Lord. Do you have a specialty?
I don't have a specialty in strength.
I
know, I was sad.
That's a shame, because that is a great roll. That is okay, though. You don't need a specialty. It would have just made it even more egregious. So, again, this is one of those things where Anton is here and is able to affect the nightmare, and it's able to affect him to a point, but it doesn't have the hold on him that it does on Jane. So, Jane, you have that, that fleeting moment of white hot terror where you're about to react, and sure, Anton blows a rage, and as the thing lunges at you, it's almost faster than you can really orient, because you're locked on that pure white light at the very center of the red glow as you see teeth and jaw coming, and of a sudden, by time you blink, It's not coming anymore. Something stopped it. And that massive fucking Krynos body is there, grasping at the jaws, wrenching them open, as it begins to let out another just... This time, clearly it's agitation. That pulsing glow starts to hammer faster as it just screams.
Anton says he's grappling. Well, come on, Jane, get the fuck in there! You know what I mean?
And there's that second of where, the thing lunged, she saw it lunge, and it's just like that causing to remind of, I'm dead, I'm dead, I'm dead, I'm dead, I'm dead, I'm dead. Opens her eyes, looks up, sees Krynos' butt in her face, and then gets snarled at. Just kind of like, oh right, shit, and she will spend the rage to go up to Krynos and fucking dive on in.
So what are you doing, buddy, while you have this at least one free shot?
Free shot. I mean, she's still pretty disoriented at this point, so it's how clear is the white light?
There is this point in the center of that big black skull that the light is emanating from. The tendrils are emanating from it too. It's essentially seeing it's like seeing the candle flame at the middle of a glow. There's that one point that's just like that good, clear source of the light before it begins traveling through the body, it becomes red tinged, it's pulsing, it's
Sweet.
throbbing like a heartbeat.
So what she's gonna do? She's gonna spend rage to go to Krynos. That take that little half second to convince herself this is totally a good idea. And she's going to do the little 2-step jog, slide down, slide underneath it, and just punch upwards with a claw to try and just rip it out from underneath.
So you're going up through the bottom of the jaw, as opposed to into the mouth?
Yeah, she's sliding. Oh, the mouth currently has an Anton in it.
This is true.
So
All right.
imagine to hold that open, he's got to be his head is almost in there, effectively. Because arms are only so big, and this is a big jaw. So she's literally just sliding round Anton underneath it and then punching upwards.
All right. So take your form stats, and let's see. The hell was that? I'm going to have you give me first the Dex Athletics to see how well you get yourself in position, and then you're going to give me an attack roll from essentially a flank.
All right. That's Dex Athletics.
All right, awesome. Yeah, you stutter a bit, but once you finally move in and start sliding, yeah, you slide right between Anton's legs and up under that fucking jaw. So give me that attack.
There's the claw at the bottom of it.
It's beautiful. So that is 4 successes.
Yeah, flank.
Yes.
So that'll be strength, which is that, plus... that. Not 19. Right.
And then... Ooh.
Oh!
And then I'm gonna have you roll me 3 extra dice because you went for the sweetmeats.
Went for the street spot. Oh,
Nuts.
Beautiful.
2 on top.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ag. Up into the spirit. I will give it a partial soak because you did have to go through the jaw instead of going in through the mouth. It doesn't soak a lot. Yeah, you basically plunge your claws up through the odd kind of sinewy flesh strung under the bottom of the jaw and plunge up to where you can almost feel it's the base of the tongue, and you just rip. And to great effect, all the mass behind it, all of the tendrils, all of the odd sinewy like ligaments of shadow that are holding it to the wall, they tremble, they shake, they writhe. And Anton, give me another check to see if you can maintain the grapple as it begins trying to thrash wildly.
Ending willpower. Oh! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with the willpower spend.
1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's 5. Got one in there, but that's still 5 successes.
It was so good he had to fucking leave.
Oh shit! Poop sticks. No.
Give him a second.
I know.
Oh my god. That was stunned. Fucking
Gotcha.
stunned him.
Got too excited, I misclicked the wrong button. What are you saying?
Basically, that's still pretty fucking good. You're getting shaken around a little bit, but between biting, like curling the big Krynos clawed fingers into and around the bone that's under that kind of leathery flesh, and planting your feet, it's not getting, like, you imagine that if you weren't here, it would be thrashing all over this fucking alleyway. As it is,
Yep.
It's shaking you around some, but it's not dragging you off your spot, and it's not getting out of your grip.
Yeah, Anton's just like holding it. As the fucking Chad Kroger music plays in the background in his head.
Oh, God. All right. What are you going to do then, Jane? It basically, you get up there and you get purchase, and it begins trying to thrash wildly around. It's moving some. It'll be a slightly harder target to hit, but it's certainly not as bad as it would be if it was unhindered. You just going to press it?
All right, fuck it, Katie.
Mm-hmm.
This thing, all right. So as she like wrenched the claws upwards, did it just hit the bottom of the jaw? Or did it actually connect with what's inside?
Basically, imagine that there's like sinewy bits of like leathery skin and whatnot, like you're seeing at the corners of the mouth is binding between the outline of the jaw, and you plunge up through it.
Yeah.
And you hit something.
There's something in there.
There's something in there.
That's all I needed to know. All right, can I try and grab the something that's in there?
You can. What are you trying to do with it?
Rip it out.
That's what I wanted to hear. So what you're going to do instead of a dex brawl is a strength brawl.
Funnily enough, it's the same dice pool.
In Krynos?
Yeah.
Jesus.
What?
I need to work on that. You only get +1 in one and you get +4 in the other. That's outrageous.
Well, hold on. Let me just calculate. Hold on a second. Hold on.
Also, Katie, check out the side chat. Anton's holding the jaw open.
I've been clicking these and dying.
What is it? Fucking this one.
Enrique.
Every version of this song.
Yep. Every single one of them.
Hold on. No, we need the best version. Hold on. The best
Of the
version.
Shrek one, I'll die. That's what you're doing, isn't it?
I've already got it.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. That
That's
is
it.
Anton currently at the minute.
All right. Fuck, you distracted me.
All right. I will warn you that it may be an extended action.
That's
You
fine.
can, grab a hold of the thing, but it ain't gonna be easy to get out.
That's right.
Bonnie Tyler.
There's a roll.
All right, you got one success, so at least you grab it. You're getting shook around a bit now.
Am I still classed as flanking it?
I was gonna raise the diff 1 for the fact
Oh,
that it's motion, so
I'm-
you will be at diff 6 right now.
That's what I mean. I'm just asking. I might like still class as flanking it.
Essentially, yes, but it's now a moving target as well, so it cancels.
Sweet. I'm a hero at the end of the night.
You mean to roll again, Katie?
And yeah, Tom, go ahead and roll to do some damage with your success. Might as well.
Flat
Good
strength.
sir. Yep. See if it can soak any of it.
That's 3.
This time it soaks. So you've got a hold, but you're not doing any damage. You've just managed to... You've gotten your hand around something. And it's like you can feel it pulsing, like hammering like a heart. And yes, Anton, just so. I want you to roll to keep that fucking hold on it.
Oh! Look at that! Look at that! Look at that! Look at that! Look at that!
I need a hero.
Like, that's literally, I'm like, look at that!
That is 8 successes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Jane looks over as Anton, like, it looks like he's closing in, and just suddenly, you know what I mean, all his muscles pop out as soon as he just pushes it. It's to be fair, it's a pretty impressive feat of strength.
It is. It is. In fact, what I'm going to say is with that roll, we're not going to slam it against the ground because Jane's there. But essentially, like, if you've seen any of those fucking movies where someone grabs a beast by the fucking jaws and then wrenches it over on its side, that's essentially what you're going to do with 8 successes. You've got a hold of it. You've had your feet planted, and you finally just rear up all the fucking muscle you've got. It fucking bulges out, fucking veins everywhere. It's ridiculous. And you basically take this thing and slowly wrench onto the side and just bam, like roll it essentially. So the side of the jaw smashes down alongside Jane, essentially pinning it to the ground for the moment. At which point you will lose the higher difficulty. In fact, your next one will be diff 4. Actually, I guess technically, if it's prone and you've got it.
I actually put the gif of what that looks like in the club chat.
Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm.
The
Are you my hero?
The fucking that
King Kong.
wrench rip. Yeah, look at that. That's perfect representation of that.
That was a great fucking scene from that film.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's pretty much what he do. He slams that thing side down onto the ground. So yeah, it's div 4 for the next strength brawl to try to wrench this thing out of it.
All right, you want to make that roll now, or is it?
Yeah, go ahead. It basically it's a little disorienting because your target is moved, but once it's slammed onto the ground, yeah, you can start wrenching and pulling again.
Army of 3s, but still.
That's still 4 successes. All right, so you're going to roll damage, and you're going to add 3 to your damage pool. You're going to have rollover successes. That's a total of, I think, 5 now towards ripping it out. And then 3 more damage. Let's see if it can soak any of it. Soaks a little bit. All right, so as you're wrenching Jane with, your fucking giant fucking claws up in this thing's skull, you feel like there should be a brain in here. But whatever the case, this time you plant once it's on the ground and you start yanking and twisting and you start pulling it out. Essentially, you feel things snapping as if it's adhered in there, as if there's things connecting it to the inside, and you're just snapping them one by one. It moves a couple inches.
Yeah, she just keeps just fucking wrenching.
All right, just do me another cursory check, Anton, because it's going to be lower dip now that you've slammed it onto the ground.
I don't know, I've essentially made it my bitch. Yeah, Jesus, Katie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's there. It's fine. Jane, give me another. This time, just give me straight strength, and we're gonna see if you can wrench this thing the rest of the way out. It will be diff 3 this time. Like, you can plant a foot up on it. It don't matter.
The fucking ones, though.
Okay, because I'm essentially taking this as straight damage.
4.
Nah, I'm taking this like a damage roll, essentially. It's just that you're doing it with sheer brute strength instead of clawing or biting or rending. You're just ripping a part off of it. So with that much more, you finally wrench. You hear things snapping, and the more that like you plant a fucking foot on the bottom of its jaw to get better purchase and wrench and yank, and it is with this horrifying, like, wet kind of splorch, you finally manage to drag this organ out of the head. And for Anton's sake, the skull essentially falls inert. And the tendrils latching it, the ligaments, the tendons almost, that latch it to the walls, latch it to the ground beneath, begin to kind of start falling apart. And Jane, you have this, I mean, it's about the size of a human head, but it looks like a heart. It's just this rapidly hammering, pulsing, brightly glowing heart with black veins on it, a dull red glow the second the light seems to get more than, off the skin. It's just sickening. It is very, very just wrong.
So, size of a human head, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, she just kind of holds that, rips it out, looks at it, looks at everything's kind of like slowly dying around it, or what it was attached to, just kind of like slowly fall limp on the ground or begin disappearing, whatever. And as it kind of like that little bit of tender body kind of flailing around on the inside, she just pulls up her other hand above it and just crunch.
That whole palm crush.
Yep, just both hands just crunch.
All right. Old buddy, old pal, old friend. So you give the thing a fucking awful, it kind of pops almost. It's a lot like a heart. It's muscle tissue and whatnot, but still, all the same, it kind of, yeah, it just kind of pops. Oh god, I need to turn this off. There we go. Sorry, too much Shrek. And with that fucking horrible squelching noise, the immediate surroundings almost immediately begin to resolve themselves in more dreamlike detail. That horrible looming sense of dread abates entirely, just gone. As the dreamscape tries to kind of, it's almost like it's having trouble loading. It stutters. Your surroundings kind of flit and change back a couple times. For a moment, it's, inside one of the rooms of the house. For a moment, it's out in the streets of Richmond. For a moment, it's in that little kind of dorm-like apartment. You even briefly see kind of a hospital scene. And eventually, it kind of resolves in the graveyard. But as the surroundings flit, the only things that don't change are the two of you, the heart in your hand, and the slowly decaying, like, I guess, corpse of this creature is always there as a feature. And then what is going to happen is there will be an abrupt jolt And both of you are going to feel that weird sensation of being woken up very abruptly out of a deep sleep. Like where you're still kind of amped up on whatever the fuck was going on. You know, maybe you wake up and your heart's racing. Maybe you wake up and you're stiff for a second, or you have a reflexive motion. But the two of you are going to wake up very abruptly in the umbra of the house, in the reflection of Jane's room.
And yeah, no, she lurches up, just kind of like, waking up to the full 90-degree angle. It's like, ugh!
Poof! Cotton ball. Topples off the bed.
Anton wakes up with his victory motor.
God damn it. Is that how that works?
Yeah, it is, Katie. I dominated the shit out of that thing. I had my shot, Lord Boner. But bam!
Oh, God. I will not take your morning wood away from you.
It's not even morning wood, it's the holy shit, did you see that? As he wakes up, it's
She just kind of looks around. Did we do it?
Yeah, we did.
All right.
There's puttering around on the floor as tiny head pokes up over edge of bed. Must climb blanket. Ugh. Oh, it's gone now. Oh, it's gone. Exploded. Meow.
That was actually perfect as it climbs on the bed. Meow!
Perfect.
That was perfect. Perfect roleplay, Katie.
I know.
That was a beautiful impression, Katie.
Yep, that was well done. God, such depth.
All right, you can stop now, Katie.
Yeah, jeez, way to show off, like God. Anyway, Andon's just gonna get up because fuck me, that kind of like rocks his arms out because Jesus, that was a feat of strength.
So, yeah. Oh. Now what?
Welcome to the team. As he starts to walk out the door.
And as you start to walk out the door, you are damn near straight collided with as this motherfucker comes fucking bustling, flying straight through the fucking doorway. Like, you're so close, you almost took a wing right to the fucking skull as he tries, gives a squawk and kind of dodges you on his way in.
Anton just steps aside like, ugh.
Bird! The kind of Marilyn gives a shriek and topples back off the bed. Clambers under it. As little big man wings in. And Jane, he's let me look at your fucking stats so I know how. Yeah. He's heavy. And what he does is he kind of collide lands on your shoulder. Bird landings are not always the gentlest of things, so it's a bit of a shook.
Yeah, it lands on her shoulder, whacks around the back of the head a few times. Because you know how birds, they stop themselves somehow.
Yeah, he back wings it, and It's probably why he hits your shoulder so hard as he kind of tucks the wings in. So yeah, you get rocked pretty good. He's a heavy bastard. You have done this faster than expected. This is very promising. And finally, he takes a minute to like shuffle himself around, reseat himself so that his head is right up next to your eye. Eyeball to eyeball with a giant fucking crow.
This is that second of like just the head, not moving the body, but the neck just like slowly leans backwards a little bit. It's like, ugh.
You have torn out your weakness. Grandfather
Well,
is very pleased.
Yeah, literally.
And finally, from one of these fucking birds, you hear kind of a croon. He reaches up, gives your hair a bit of a nibble. And then, of all the fucking things, like, let me find this real fast. Oh, it's a really easy one for him to do. He doesn't actually do any serious damage to you. But essentially, the 2 feet that are planted on your shoulder, each one gives a bit of a rake, scratching, well, I guess that's technically skin. It's kind of a weird wibbly wobbly in between thing in the Umbra. You're kind of wonky. But he still leaves scratches behind and then snaps down with the beak and does a crisscross at the top until you have, recognizably this. Kind of scritched into the skin. We will be watching. Always be strong. Never show weakness. Never, never. Because if we see weakness, we will take advantage. Cocks its head.
People, Anton will say at the doorway.
What is it?
What do you say?
People are going to hate you for it. Not showing weakness.
I'll
People
deal
are
with it.
going. People are going to judge you for it. People are going to lash out at you for it. But what you have to understand is you are what's necessary. Nobody's going to ever thank you for what you do. Nobody ever thanks the people who are right in their actions. Remember that.
And she just nods. It's a single nod.
He just walks out of the room again, back to that kind of weird, quiet, oddly wounded posture that he has. He kind of just walks out.
And upon giving you the scratches and actually kind of hopping over to your other shoulder, little big man seems content. He's just chilling on your shoulder.
Just kind of looks leaning back, propping herself up with the arms because, yeah, like I said, he's heavy. Happy now?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Now there are 2 of you. Starts preening your hair again, kind of nibbling at the strands that dangle down like fine little spiderwebs. It's so pretty. It gives a little nibble. Now that there are 2, now you can have a pack.
Speaking of which, I might need to come back to you about that.
Yes, yes. All is changing. It's changing for the better. He's stronger. You're stronger. And Tom, I'm gonna give you a weird roll. Because I fucking can.
Oh shit. What's the weird
Because
roll?
I don't think this particular spirit has a particular like name slash brood slash slash slash. So we're going to play with it because spirits are weird.
Right, what's
I'm
the
going to
weird roll?
have you roll a perception enigmas.
Ooh. It's not that weird.
I was debating some other things, but yes, perception enigmas.
Let's see. Weird in my mind is like wits, fucking etiquette. That'd be a weird one.
That'd be great.
A perception enigmas I can do. Luckily, I have enigmas. Only the one though. Fucking ones.
Oh, you still got one.
Yep, still got one.
So while anyone can look at little big man here and tell that he is significantly larger than his brethren, I mean, you're a Theurge. Certain things will come kind of naturally. You get not the. It's not that there's something particularly physically distinctive besides his size, but he's been altered. So I mean, you've seen the moths do the whole size thing, where one is just kind of a smaller or larger classification sort of kind of thing, maybe. But he's changed. Not in a negative way. He's just changed. His purpose, which is a huge defining feature of most spirits, has shifted.
She looks and there's a slight eyebrow raise. Something's different.
Croaks. Yes. Yes, something is different. Kind of tips the head around so you're eye to eye again. What is it, I wonder? Looks his beak a few times.
Is it something you're going to tell me, or is it something I'm going to have to try and find out?
Give me 1 second. Do. The fuck? Sorry, my cat flipped her shit for no fucking reason. You are a daughter of grandfather now, yes. So he shuffles a little closer, almost kind of nests up next to your neck. I am still a crow. I still follow grandfather, yes. But now, I've been made a symbol of war.
He's just a slow nod. Fair enough.
I still know what I know. But now I will teach better things. I will teach different things. There are many, many storm crows here. But there is only one crow of war.
Well, I definitely look forward to it.
And he finally gives one last, like, kind of nibble at the hair and says, make sure that the leader you pick is worthy. And that all who follow the leader are loyal. A worthy leader deserves loyalty. An unworthy leader deserves to be driven out with beaks and claws. He can adapt too, you see.
I understand.
Good. Good, good, good. Think on this. Speak to the others. They are on the roof. They are in the basement. They serve grandfather. You will learn. You will learn quickly. And you have Anton. Just as he had the ones who walked before him. Clicks at beak a few times.
Now, are you coming back outside with me, or are you staying in here?
I go. And I mean, considering it's the umbral reflection of the house, the window is now conveniently an open thing. Flits to the sill, flits out, winging around. Get Overwatch on both of them if it can. Would the two of you like to do anything else?
And I'm just walking outside unless Jane is stopping me.
Or walking out with even? No.
She'll walk out with him, or at least catch him up. And as kind of get outside and just look at him. Thanks for the help.
No problem.
Not gonna lie, that was pretty impressive.
I know what I had to do.
Still, looked pretty cool from where I was. Just turn and start slowly walking back towards the graveyard.
Yeah.
You going off on your own, or?
Probably. People don't want me here anyway. We're just starting to turn to walk.
That's not true.
Looks over his shoulder. talk to Abby about it.
And what's she gonna say?
Probably what they've all been saying.
Well, if it means anything, I want you here.
Look over her shoulder. And he said somebody.
Don't forget it.
Just don't expect me to lead. I don't think anybody wants that anyway. He's starting to walk.
I don't expect you to. But I know you do the right thing.
Just looks down. Just
Say it.
look over. I don't say the things I say for a joke. Now you're gonna see why.
I think I'm starting to get it.
Just keep that in mind whenever it starts throwing things at me. Is he starting to walk again?
I'll be here if you need me.
I know. Can't show weakness though, right?
Show strength in being together, though, rather than separating ourselves.
Bit hard when you're chipped at. But hey, I'm trying.
You're doing better than trying. Even I can see that.
All right. I'll lead. Now go on, you got work to do.
And what are you going to do?
Probably take a rest because I have been working all day. And considering I saved your life, I think I need to lie down. Who knows? Maybe even victory sex. Starts chuckling as the big Arthur Morgan laughed. Yeah, as he's walking off.
She goes to say something, but stops herself. And as he walks off and does whatever, I imagine disappears to the other side.
Yeah.
It's just left shaking her head and starts walking back towards the graveyard.
And unless you guys would like to do anything else,
You
then we'll call it a scene.
So thank you, players, for playing. I will drop your XP forthwith. Meow, 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 meow.